Hey, Dustin, good morning.
Hey, Joel, how you doing today?
I'm great.
Excellent. It's an honor to be speaking with you. Thank you so much for your time.
Well, look, we appreciate your time. I mean, we have, this Time Life collection out of true rock and roll history, and you're taking the time to talk about it is something we appreciate.
Well, let's tell the listeners a bit about it. It's a 11-disc collector's set here, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in concert. What are the listeners in for with the new set?
Well, you're seeing, in this new Time Life collection, it includes induction ceremony performances and speeches from 2010 through 2017, and you're really truly seeing rock and roll history, because each year we induct artists, that people are just passionate about, and they're once in a life, when you're only inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame once, so it creates these one-night opportunities to see some true great speeches, true great performances, and the people can have and own and watch as much as they want.
Excellent, yeah, and it's, as you mentioned, not only the performances, but the induction speeches included as well. I know a lot of times if you're, searching around YouTube or wherever, you don't really see the speeches in full, so that's great that they're included.
Well, when you search around in other ways, also the quality isn't great. Here we have things that have been really professionally mixed, broadcast quality material that people can own.
And Joel, I don't know if I misread this, but is this actually 3 different sets that are collected into one? Is it possible to piece it out over time, or how does that work?
Well, we've had different collections out. This collection that's out now is an 11-disc set that includes the years from 2010 to 2017.
And again, that's out now for Time Life here. And Joel, can you tell the listeners?
Time Life, you can get it on Amazon, you can get it at Barnes & Noble, and you can get it on the Rock Hall website.
Excellent. And speaking of the Rock Hall itself, I wanted to ask you if you could talk a little bit about that. I know for the listeners, maybe if they haven't been there yet, you guys have, of course, all the cool exhibits. You've got live music. You got a lot of stuff out there.
You guys aren't that far from it. I mean, it'd be a good, one of the things you should do is, people that buy his collection, they can pop them in their car and listen to it on where they drive to Cleveland. And see, we have, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame does over 600,000 people a year from all over the country, and it truly has something for every Rock and Roll Hall, every fan. We just opened up a new exhibit called the Garage, Interactive Garage, where people can go in and play instruments and play along some of their favorite songs. In November, we're opening up a new exhibit called Play It Loud, which is the history of the rock and roll instrument that's currently at the Met Museum in New York. So there's always things at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for rock and roll fans of every genre.
Well, and when it comes to the different genres, Joel, I know it's a subjective list of people who go in. There's always a portion of fans who don't seem to like when the hip hop artists go in. But I want to ask you your thoughts on that. I imagine 10, 20 years from now, it's probably going to be a lot different than the traditional rock bands that went in through the first 25 years here.
Well, I think one thing we do as an institution is show where rock and roll started. And when you look at the early days of blues and early rock and roll all kind of started at the same place. That it branched off into different directions is the natural evolution of music. So having hip-hop or having people consider disco or dance or pop or hard rock or progressive rock, it also has the same roots. So that's why we always look at rock and roll having a very broad definition, and it's all inclusive.
And I know now the fans themselves are able to influence the votes. So I mean, it's definitely whoever goes in, it's definitely warranted for sure.
Yeah, the fan vote that we started a few years ago, people have an opportunity to have their voice heard, and it is heard because that ballot actually, it does count, and the voting can be very close, and it can really make a difference.
Well, I know we're a ways off, Joel, but can you give us a hint or two on who we might see up for maybe a first-time induction here in the coming year?
Well, you'll see in October. I mean, we have the nomination process starts next week, and we announce the nominees usually like around the first or second week of October, so stay tuned for that.
Excellent. Well, again, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in concert set is out now, the 11-disc set, and as you mentioned, you've had other sets out in the past, so it's great for the collectors to kind of follow along and maybe collect every year and maybe just watch it back to back for a whole summer.
Well, true. It's true rock and roll history that people have the opportunity to finally own.
Well, what else is in the works for the Hall, Joel? Is there something else or other projects we should be looking out for or events?
Well, we start the nomination process, so the show will be in the spring. We have a couple of new exhibits at the museum, And the museum is truly a place that will, that any rock fan will enjoy and should be on their bucket list of places to go.
Excellent. Again, thank you so much, Joel. Definitely looking forward to the new set here. As you mentioned, you can get it on Amazon or wherever you get everything. It should be out there for the fans. So I'm looking forward to maybe the next set here down the road.
Thanks, Dustin.
All right, you bet. Thank you. Bye-bye.